Hi everyone. So last time I was with you we did a little flower, very nice, in these bits and pieces that I got the other day, but I thought we'll have another go and do something else with these bits. And I'm just looking at some of this. It's woolen yarn. I really like it. I'm just going to do that to see what it does. Okay, so needle felting, jabbing with the needle. That is paint on my hands. I've tried to get it off, but might have to work on that. Okay, there's a start. Something. What is it? What is it saying? Like that. Just going to take some of that. Okay. Do like you. Not this one. Could be. Oh, interesting too. Oh, you're all interesting, aren't you? Alright, well, these are those threads that we were unsure of. But look at the colour. Gosh, that's a good colour with this. So this one, we used a bit of it on here. We were mostly orangey reds and lovely colours in that, and green. So in this one we might try and make it more pale, yellowy orange. So I'm going to have a look on this and see if there's any bit in here that would suit me. These are very nice. That's virtually the same. That might have been where I actually got that piece from, looking at it, because there's all colours in that. I'm just busy looking around in front of me at bits and bobs that are still on the table from past projects whilst I'm at it. See, I tease this apart and get these delicious colours. Or you can leave it, or you can leave parts of it. Oh, isn't that sumptuous? Still don't know what I'm doing there. Alright, well, let's get something down. When needle felting, and yes, someone did say, why aren't you using a machine? And I do have an embellisher, which is a machine that has, like, 5 to 7 needles, different ones, different brands. But there's something therapeutic about stabbing that is really quite a lot of fun. And it's a cheap thing, like I'm saying, you don't need to get everything. You can just get a bit of stuff like that. I like that bit. Take you a bit of wool and one of those, and you can start. There are a little barbed point on there, and that's pushing it through. And as long as I don't bend the needle when I remove it, as long as I don't change directions whilst it's in there, that is what snaps them. And you'll find one of these can last you a very long time. And I'm using that same, just that little bit that was left on that dark green background. And it's just a cheap acrylic felt, sheet of acrylic felt. What can we do now? Look, it's sitting here, a bit of green. Okay. Really, it's as if I'm just painting a background hoping it will suggest something to me eventually. So you can use the tiniest little bit, and you can shade with it. I'm shading some of it out into that. Linen scraps I've dyed. Look at that yellow. This is the one I was looking at. It would fit in beautifully, wouldn't it? I'm just going to cut a bit, and the same as I did before, I'm just going to do that. Break it up. And you see the threads warping apart. They create all kinds of interesting things. Where do I want it? You know what I love about it? If I decide I don't want that, I can pick it up, I can reuse it. I could just add that in there. I could bring you down over the top. Because what we did was really just tacking. So there we go. And this, and you can use other fabrics too. It won't really go in. It won't really go in. Like, let me just show you underneath. See how all of these threads here are from the wool, and it's going through, and it's, you know, amalgamating, it's knitting with this. So that's okay, but this won't. But what I can do is use this very, very sparingly. Very, very fine. Don't need much. And I just want to go, you know, a little bit over the top, and it will trap it down. But we'll still get lots of it showing through, which will be lovely. Oops, just dropped it. So I'm going to go again. So can you see how some of it has very fine bits over the top? I can disguise that edge a bit if I want. Blend it through. If I don't want these threads, I can pull them out. I do a couple of nice kits on my Etsy shop if you're wanting to have a go with some of these techniques. And they also appear on my YouTube channel, so you can go along with me. And how many crafts allow you to just simply pick it up and shift it to somewhere else, you know? Here's some interesting yarn. Yarns work really well. So I'm just going to pop that there. I don't think it'll go in. It's going to sit on the top. But so that didn't go in, but it would be very interesting to have some bits show themselves, maybe underneath something else. Look at you. Something like that. A bit of it in there, and a bit of wool. A bit of wool there to hold it down whilst I'm planning what to do next. You know, we could have this looking more like grass by creating some, or even pulling some threads out. See? Something like that. Making them uneven. know, and this time I'm thinking I don't want that up there, because that's looking more like a sunsetty sky to me. And I'm going to bring the green bits down. In fact, I might use it to go over that strange stuff there. We'll get enough of it poking through so that it adds interest, but you know, not too much. Now, like I say, you can use an embellisher. You can use one of these things that's got like 4 prongs in. It'll do quite a bit at once. And you use a sponge or something underneath so that you can safely go in. I know there's brushes underneath, you know, with the bristles facing up, so that you can stab safely. Anyway, I think I've given myself an interesting kind of background there. And see how it's really, really melding itself to that, which is good. Just for fun, I like to keep some things, just little snippets that I may want to use. There we go. Let's just see if anything jumps out at me there. What are you? See, I've got purple on one end, green and blue on the other. Don't really want the purple, but I can take that bit, you see. That looks quite good. I wonder if that goes in. I'll try it. I chose it because it looked nice and bobbly, and I like bobbly ones like that, especially on a horizon, because they look like little trees and things. I'm calling this the horizon of what we're doing. So I had some of that. This one's green, that's nice. Oh, here's another one. It's bobbly. Okay, take that bit. And to just experiment and to see which bits want to go in and which don't. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm taking you off. I could make it more so if I wanted. That little tiny touch of blue is quite pretty. I like that. Too much? Maybe. Do like that little bit. Maybe just a little smidge. So with the rough bit of linen and these things, we're adding some texture that we're going to be calling, you know, plant life of some description. Let's just see if this wants to go in. And if I decided I needed to balance it up with a bit more, I could bring in a tiny bit over here if I want. Now, if you spend a lot of time with your needle here, you could really get most of that in. Just for the sake of putting this video up, I'm not going to go to too much trouble. But even though we've used a dark green there, and we thought, oh, you know, but look at that little bit there. I don't think it matters. Although we could put something in there if we really wanted. What do we have? Let's try some of this purpley one. And I just want a tiny little smidge. And if it's, see, you can really tease it back to its natural form would have been. Like these. See? I'm just going to take a little bit of that and pop that there and see if that helps cause the darker parts of the cloud and obscure some of that olive green. But it's a nice shade kind of background, isn't it? I think it works right. Right, so of course I've got way more colour than I had intended in it, but you know, things like that happen. Let's go a bit of brown for a moment. Brown. I just wanted to see if we could break some of that sky up a little bit. Just taking some of this brown. I'm just going to see if we can do a nice, I don't know, I'm trying to do a tree. And that's its branch coming out from the side and going over. Yeah, maybe. So are we suggesting something tree-like? Right, well let's have a look at this a little bit faster. You can see I've decided to add in some of those bare brown branches each side, and it's almost framing our picture. Pick it off that now. There. Finished with that. Now for a little embroidery. There's nothing to stop me going back and doing a little bit more needle felting if I want. But in the meantime, I'm going to add a little bit of a running stitch with a nice woolen embroidery thread. And this is a very simple running stitch. There we go. When I'm finished, take it to the back, do a couple of stitches. That's it. And so I would just play and do things that I fancy. That would be nice. This is the one I wanted to use, wasn't it? Okay. This is very fine, so I'm going to use 2 strands of this one. What do we need? What do we need? I think I'll do a few just long stitches. And what it does is it holds things down nicely, and it's random enough to look a little bit like grasses, isn't it? Now I don't know, is it too much colour? Better without the purple? You know, that's a great way to do it too, is to, if you think, oh no, I don't know, there's something there I don't like, put your fingers over them, cover it, and see whether that's the bit that disturbs you. But I also like to just try and make things work. Try and make it work. Maybe I'll use this colour. This is stranded or floss embroidery thread, DMC. I'm going to use 3 3 strands and save 3 for next time. I'll start here. French knots. I'll tell you again how to do it. Messy ones I love. Tight little ones, I find 2, 1, 2, 3 or 4 or however many you like, and then down close to where you came up. If you go the same spot, what will happen is you'll just go back out the other side and drag the thread with you. Now that's a nice messy one, but really you're taught to do this 1, 2, 3 and hold the tension there, and when you put it back to grab that, to make sure that tension is pulled, and then what happens is you end up with this lovely little neat knot. Beautiful, perfect. But I like mixing it up, and I like having, you know, some rougher knots. I think they're quite big, and I like that. All right, so I'll do a few more of these. Then we'll have a look and we'll see what we think. And I hope I haven't wasted an hour, but I don't think so. I think you can always think of something to do that's going to make it all right again. Like I say, it's just finding the thing that you want, and the bits that you don't like, and what colour or what stitch or what could make it better. That's what I'm doing now. I'm bringing some of that in. Oops. This colour down here because I thought it could do with it. I'm doing French knots because they can look like flowers. That would look perfectly alright in our little landscape like we have. Now if I thought that that was too light, and it probably is, I'd probably use a darker one in amongst it or underneath it, something like that. But I've started this, so I'm going to continue. Doing a few straight stitches now. A little bit up there to hold that green. I can go back with my needle, my felting needle. I can do those things. Ooh, that's a big messy. So at the moment I am just adding in a few stitches. Doesn't that look wild? So I think you're getting the idea. I don't really like that blue. I might cover the blue. I thought I would like it, but alright, so I am going to play a bit more with the stitches, and I'm also going to, I just want to show you that at any time I can come back and I can do some more of this. So I would like to just define those little branches a little bit, so I'm going to do that now. So I can just tease it to go where I want. Okay, well, it does disturb me somewhat. What colour would I prefer it was? A green, perhaps? Maybe more orangey? You see why I love these hand-dyed rolls? So many variations of colour that I can use. I'm just going to very, very light. And it's gone. So you see what I mean? That's why I think it's very useful. And I'm going to use some more of this. I think that's what I would like to see. I'll pop it there. bright sunset. Pretty. Oh, you're a weird shape, aren't you? What are we thinking here? Let's just change you. So it's just allowing me to play how I want. And that's what I'm doing. Oh, would I prefer some green there, or do I have too much purple there? Should I try and narrow that down with something else? There is a lot of colour in this. Sometimes I do go a little mad with the colour. But just that little smear over it. Gosh, that helped, didn't it? I don't mind the purple, but I would like to see more of the orange in there, so it's okay to change my mind. I'm using some pale yellow. I think I'm just about done, but you know, I'm fiddling now. I shouldn't fiddle, but you know, you can, that's what I'm trying to say. You can change it how you like. No, quite happy. All right, you have to stop somewhere. That's where I'm stopping. So I hope you liked it. I had fun. And look at those colours and textures, don't they sing? I think it looks quite good for what it is. A few scraps, a little bit of time, and we've created a lovely little country sunset and fields, and look at those lovely layers that we have. And this was a really quick artwork using the bits and pieces that I had. But I think it's really effective. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you have, don't forget to press like. If you haven't already and you'd like to, you can subscribe to my channel and see more videos on all kinds of interesting subjects to do with art and craft and fibre and stitch. Thanks again for watching.